Let's rise to the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If it could remain standing just for a moment, and as we always do, and think of our men and women in the armed forces, and also a local resident, Jerry Stanky. Thank you. Hey. Any public comment on agenda items? Okay, the village clerk has presented all of you with the tentative budget. I think you found it today downstairs. Okay. So we need to set a public hearing for the tentative budget. I'll suggest April 2 at 6:30. April 2 happens to be a village board meeting, so if we do that at 6:30, and after the tentative budget is read by our treasurer, we could follow it by the reorganizational meeting, and by 7 we'll be done, and we can start our regular monthly meeting at 7. So under new business, if you all agree to that, we'll set it. Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Let me get into new business,
Oh, okay.
then we'll do
Yeah.
it. So next on the agenda is to approve minutes as written. We had a special meeting, executive session on March the 5th. We had a regular meeting on March the 5th, 2018. We had a special meeting, budget meeting on the March the 6th, 2018. And we had a special meeting on the budget on March the 12th, 2018. You have the minutes before you.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Let's do that motion now. So, the motion would be on April the 2nd at 6:30, we do the tentative budget for 18-19. After that, it'll follow with the reorganization, and then we'll be done with both of these, I think, by 7, and we'll go into our regular monthly meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You have a contract renewal for the mayor to sign. It's for section 8. You have that before you. It's an annual. agreement to sign. So may I have a motion? Let me read the renewal contract. This agreement being made and entered into this 19th day of March 2018 by and between the Village of Highland Falls Housing Agency, having its principal officers located at 303 Main Street, Highland Falls, New York, 10928, and that Joseph E. Mastriani, Inc., 11 Federal Street, Saratoga Springs, New York, 12866. Whereas the parties hereto enter into an agreement which was approved by the Village of Highland Falls Housing Agency on April 1, 2016 for the administration of Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. Whereas the parties wish to maintain the original agreement and thereby desire to renew such original agreement. Now therefore, the parties hereby agree as follows. 1, pursuant to Article 3, time and performance, the original agreement shall be renewed for an additional 1-year period from April 1, 2018 to March 31, 2019. Number 2, in all other respects, the terms and conditions of said original agreement are continued. May I have a motion for the mayor to sign this agreement?
Motion to allow the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
You getting this, Gina?
Yes.
Okay, may I have roll call?
Trustee Howard,
Aye.
trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee Ramus,
Aye.
trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Mayor Denocchio.
Aye. Motion carries. Let's see, not this one. Okay, next is another agreement on the back. This is the audit for the gross utilities, that, to make sure that we're getting our 1%. There's no charge. If there's a deficiency found in our favor, we'll be able to pick up additional money by this, by extending the time of the annual audit gross receipts on tax that we're allowed. So this firm will come in to make sure it's being done right, and that the company, the utility, is looking out for us as they should. So. I need a motion for myself to sign it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Brian?
Yep,
Okay, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have we want to approve the Fall Foliage Festival using Main Street from 6 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. The date is October the 28th of this year. 27th of this year, October the 27th, 2018, from 6 to 4. They're also asking for the entertainment permit to be waived, which we should consider that. So the motion would be to allow them to have Main Street. Is all the documentation in?
Yes.
Okay, you see insurance there, and again, if the motion could include the waiver of the fee for entertainment.
I'll make a motion on that, also throw in how hard the ambulance corps works on this for Fall Foliage.
I would like to second that motion.
Okay, seconded by trustee Murphy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the police chief was applied for and was given a DWI grant. And it requires the board resolution authorizing designated officials to sign the agreement, stop DWI enforcement contract, which would be myself, Jason Torpy, the police commissioner, Brian Howard, and the chief of police, Ken Scott. I think that's any one of us, am I correct?
Yes.
Any one of us, not all of us, okay.
Yes.
We'll be getting $1,679.40, $1,679.
That's 40 hours. It's not to exceed that dollar amount or that 40-hour mark
And that time period.
in the time period. You didn't mention the time period was March to May,
Right.
right?
You didn't give me
But
a
it's
chance.
not 40 cents. I just want to let you know that means 40 hours.
Okay. So this is for 40 hours. It's the chief can use it from the 15th of March, which today I understand is the 19th, and this has to end, and it'll end on the 29th of May, 2018. And then what will happen is another one will come, we hope. All right? So we need a motion to do this. For any one of these, I think it's 5 people that I named, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Any one of us can sign it.
You have a motion.
Okay. Motion by trustee Murphy, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a resignation from part-time police officer Lori Bailey, effective the 17th of March 2018, if we could accept that.
Make a motion to accept it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a resignation of Jonathan Hurtado, effective the 19th of March, today, 2018.
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second, with regret.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Also to mention, though, Officer Hurtado, he did a lot for this community. I just want to put that out there.
Next on the agenda is the a provisional appointment for a full-time dispatcher, Joshua Wendell. He's actually over there working now, he's a part-time. It's pending the results of an exam held on the 6th of January, 2018, passing the 911 performance test and being rescheduled on the certification after canvassing. Now, he's provisional until the list comes out, correct?
Correct.
Which we expect soon. Okay. May I have a motion?
And
I make a motion to accept.
Joe, excuse me, just, it's at step one of the part of their salary schedule.
Yeah, he'll be
According to the
placed,
contract.
if he is able to get this tonight, he'll be placed in the step one category of the union contract. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Abstain.
May I have roll call?
Roll call, trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee Livesey,
Abstain.
trustee Ramus,
Aye.
trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
I, with a comment that this is one of the nicest fellows I've ever met. He's a gentleman. He'll be an asset, so, thank you, everyone. Motion carries. Next, you have some surplus vehicles before you. We have a 2003 Ford F-250 pickup, a 2008 Dodge Durango, a 2001 Chevy Tahoe, and a 2003 Ford F-350 dump. I think that we received some pretty, I don't want to say pretty high, but definitely higher than I thought we would get on these vehicles. So you have that before you. It's one bidder received, has the best prices, Liberty Motors, Jersey City. So we would need a motion to surplus these vehicles for this amount to that company.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey.
Sure.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any residents or someone representing 65 Schneider? Oh, I didn't see you. I didn't see you. Hi, Jose.
How you doing?
You're on.
Just trying to find out what the status is, what's going on, if we're making any,
You can-
Wanna get over here, buddy?
Sure. That's stand, you gotta stand up so.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
can see you.
No? You're not gonna take your hat off? Go ahead, Jose.
just trying to find out the status of, where we're going
Yeah.
as far as the house goes.
So, only thing what I can tell you is, we had the engineer up there, our engineer up there a couple of times,
Okay,
twice that I know of. We showed him the problem, we walked around, we went down into your yard, we went to the back of your yard, we went on the other streets as the water comes from there over to you. And he came up with a plan, that's here, that I can give you. We have to go into your yard to fix it.
okay,
We need an easement,
no problem.
and I'll talk to our attorney on how to arrange that. I don't know, would it be between you, Elise, and his attorney?
Yes.
Who draws it up? I don't know, but you could help
Your
us.
attorney can draw it up, I can review it, make sure that, that the village is protected, and that would be most efficient, I think.
You want me to draw it up? That's not something you would draw?
I can draw it up.
Okay.
No, what she said, Jose, what she said was your attorney or
can draw it
your
up.
attorney can draw it up, and then she would review it.
Okay.
Yeah, or it can go the other way, but I think it would be most efficient.
I want to save some time here, so would it be between point A and point B? A is out in the street.
Well, I need to look at the engineer's
Okay,
plan
all right.
so that I can make sure. And what you're looking for is an easement over his property. So it would really be just the extent of his property.
Okay.
That's really all you need, because you have the right to go into the street.
So what do we need from him to draw it up, or what does he need to give to his attorney to draw this up? I'm trying to save us both time.
Yeah, no, I mean, the easement, now, first of all, do you have an attorney?
No, but I can get one, it's not a problem.
Okay, you know what, why don't I draw it up, and I'll get it to him. And if he wants to have an attorney look at it, which I would advise that you do, then I think that would be more efficient than him trying to find an attorney and then have it drawn up and explain everything to that attorney. But I would have an attorney look at it, that's just good general advice. And I will look at the plan, and it'll be as simple, straightforward. If you know, get on his property to fix it, and then maintain it if should you need to go back on, so it's that kind of easement.
Okay?
Are we looking at some when can I be expecting something like this, or hearing from you, or?
I will work through the village, and that should be in a week or two. It shouldn't be hard, but I would like to see the plan, so I know what needs to be done, so I can structure the easement to be particular to that.
Okay, that sounds good. You got something to say, Pat?
Not to you, sir.
Oh, no, I
But
just
thank
said
you.
we shouldn't be doing.
I appreciate it.
It's my property, so.
I wasn't talking to you, but I appreciate you.
I heard something, but I was
Yeah,
looking.
that's fine.
That's all right. Okay.
So, that's fine,
Is there
so-
anything else you want tonight? Because this has been going on a long time.
That's just, like you said, I just wanna see which direction we're headed.
The
You
board,
know,
the
it's on
board,
call,
the
so-
board has been talking to you about it, this board, and I think, have we all been up there, or some of us been up there?
Well, yeah, the last administration was up
Yeah.
there. Bob Mellon was up there, and the village lawyer, engineer was up there.
Yeah, Bob Nolan did come out.
Yeah, and so did Gary.
Yeah, Gary was,
Yep,
correct.
Gary was up there, so.
So, okay, so I'll speak to you guys soon then. Thank
Yes, you will.
Appreciate it.
Okay. We have bills and claims for 17 years, 2017, 2018 of $54,934.87.
Motion to pay the bills.
You guys looked at them down there, I saw you.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee Murphy and seconded by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Couple of quick things. Holland Falls man sentenced for possession of cocaine. This guy's gone to jail. Now, I'm sure you can't see him from down there, but this guy's gone to jail. And he won't be here for a while. He'll be a little bit older than he looks there next time you see him. This was not someone so much using, but selling. And I've said it up here before, and I'm gonna say it again. You're selling drugs, your time in Highland Falls is short, very short. If you're selling drugs, your time in Highland Falls is short. It's not gonna be tolerated. It hasn't been tolerated. Charlie, I wanted to give you this letter. I've written this to the town building department. It was adhered to for 3 weeks, and you'll know what I mean by that when you read it. And this goes back to November, so it hasn't been adhered to in quite a while. I was wondering if you could just talk to Bruce about it. And then also, we really shouldn't have to be doing this. It's not my job, it's his job, the building inspector. These are vehicles, I think this one. These are vehicles in yards.
Wait, this says vacant houses.
Oh, you have the wrong one. This one. There's like 30 addresses here. They have 1 to 3 cars
Without plates.
without plates. That's kind of like a lot,
Yeah.
okay? I'll also give you this though, Charlie, the one that you just had. This is vacant houses in the village that need to be secured and boarded up. There's 16 here. This is not our job, it's not your job, it's not my job. He should be doing this. He should be doing
Where'd
that.
this come? Who put this together?
I did.
Oh, you put this
Yeah,
together?
drive around and you'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm?
Well, we can start procedures, but
Can I see that list you have in your list?
they can
Secure it. He can secure it if it's, dangerous and it's open, so.
She has
There's, he's allowed to do that under both the village law code and the building code. So what he can't do is take the property, demolish the property. He can also violate the property. He can also do an appearance ticket. If these are vacant, they're probably bank-owned, they're probably zombie properties.
Some are, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so there's code provisions also for zombie properties, so if he needs something, you can call me, but since it's the town building department, he can also call Justin. But if he, but either way.
because for us to board up properties will
Or
get
they're open
expensive.
and accessible and people could get in and crash or, do vandalism. They're an attractive nuisance, kids could get in there, who knows? No, you can do that. If it's well
I
maintained,
know.
on the other hand,
I know.
and it's just
Yes,
vacant,
we got it for everything.
then there's no need to worry about it, so. He'll be able to make that.
Charlie, we have one on 6 Cooks Lane, the house, but it has raccoons in it, and then they come out during the day. And I was told someone is responsible for calling up an exterminator to go in and get the raccoons out, but there are windows open, and people can hear noises coming out, so apparently kids are getting in.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Okay,
That's
so
not-
could you put that on the list?
Yep,
6?
I think it
It
is.
is, I have it on the
Okay.
list. 6
Yes,
Cooks
6.
Lane.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's got an asterisk.
The gentleman who owned it passed away, and the bank hasn't completed foreclosure papers, but it still can be closed up.
Yeah, and then also the bank's responsible for that, so you can start.
Right, I discussed that with Kim last week. Okay.
Could I have a copy of the car list?
Okay, just gonna read this here report. So, here are some things that have been going on and that I've been working on, the board. Verizon worked Friday night and Saturday all day removing 3 utility poles on Mountain Avenue due to a dangerous hazard. Verizon is working on the rest of the double poles in the village to be removed. I had to call the, Charlie, who did I call at Albany? It's escaping me, to turn these folks in for not, Public Service Commission. Once you call the Public Service Commission, you will get action. I've had to do it now on the ones, there's a couple on Mountain Avenue, one in particular downside, on the right going up on the downside before you get to the bridge. That was hit, I'm assuming by a vehicle, and it's cracked the sidewalk and it's very bad. The village had discolored water on Saturday afternoon in the north end and south end of the village. The water department is working on the problem, and we will be scheduling hydrant flushing the first week in April, weather permitting. Due to all the water main breaks over the last few months and the high usage, the system is due for flushing, but due to the weather, it has been holding us back on flushing. Now, as far as the water, Brown, I had gotten several phone calls from Clytes Avenue, Lake Street, Main Street, other streets that you all heard from. I think we traced it back to the hydrant being opened at the south end of Roe Park by the fire department. Kind of stirred everything up, so we're gonna, Charlie, we need to work with them. We need to know what they're doing and when they're scheduling it. Let them know when we're gonna be flushing hydrants. Maybe that would be a good time. I mean, the water's gonna go brown just by that.
Oh,
Maybe-
definitely.
Yeah, so maybe those are times they could do some of their training. Maybe, I hope.
Well, the hydrant flushing, I think Kevin does that.
Yeah, but I'm saying talk to the fire department that maybe that's when they wanna use the hydrant at the same
Oh.
time. We're gonna turn the water over, let's turn it over together
And shoot an
in those different periods of time, okay? The village crew is out picking up brush as time permits. So if you have brush, put it out, they'll get it as they can. And is working on potholes as time permits. I must say better than DOT does their potholes. Central Hudson contractor is almost done on Oak Avenue, Murns Avenue, and the project gas line, and on the gas line replacement. So unless you're up on those streets, you might not know, but they've been torn up. Oak Avenue, Murns Avenue with new gas lines. Reminder to all village residents that the village streets and sidewalks and the parks are not a dumping ground for dog waste. The dog owner is responsible for cleaning up your pet. I'll pick up after my dog, and Merv's gonna pick up after his dog. Correct?
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
So please, guys, pick up. Reminder to all village residents that the village streets and sidewalks, and I just read that one, are not dumping grounds for dog waste. Case in point, South Street. There's a small stretch of grass on South Street, and I know a dog will find grass, but I think maybe the owner is leading him there. Right across, at the south end of South Street, at the retaining wall that holds up Cousins. Very bad, very, very bad. Pave it.
Yeah.
Report any street lights out in the village, and I'll make sure that they're taken care of. In fact, I have a department head meeting tomorrow morning, and it has a list of lights that are out. But if you can, call the police station and they'll put it down. Correct, chief?
Yes, sir.
Just a note that the municipal parking lots, the one behind Town Hall and the one across the street from Sacred Heart Church, they're 24-hour parking lots. 24 hours. There's signs there. And especially when it snows, to help. It's the place to go and park if you can't park, on your property. But the next morning, try to get your car out of there so we can clean up. We had no major incidences here in the village in the wake of the last few storms. Yes, some trees came down, but nothing major. And that's it. Mr. Howard.
I have a couple of things. First one is, we had a March
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mania basketball at Sacred Heart on the 9th and 10th of March. BBB up here, barbecue place, are the champions, coached by Danny Lennon. A lot of people need to be thanked. It was Wallkill Jim DeSalvo sponsoring t-shirts. As we recall, did the DJ Red Bottom. Donated the time for DJ services. Sacred Heart, Aaron Falk, the town, helped us out. Ann Molina, and the Center and Hudson Valley Women's Association sponsored the event. Mike Perlman up here with Apparel Venture gave us the t-shirts. Shades donated food. Desiree Talley, Denise Gibney, the whole Gibney family was there. Tiffany, Nicole, Teresa Hurst, Brian Larkin, Chris O'Donnell, Danny Lennon, Jack Pritt. What's that?
Galante.
Yeah, thank you. Jeff Galante, him too. And Lance Talley, Zachary Hurst. So thank you for everybody, it was great. Kids had a good time. The school district is putting on a lot of workshops. Unfortunately, only 10 parents showed up. It was on vaping. People think that vaping really isn't a big deal for young people, but it is. It's addictive. It has nicotine in it, even though they tell you it doesn't have any nicotine. So I want to thank the administration, the district office, the teachers, administrators, auxiliary staff. They put on some fine workshops. One of them was called From Medicine Cabinet to Heroin, How to Raise Kids in a Different Society. Several workshops with drugs. Vaping. It does cause cancer, even though people have told you it doesn't cause cancer, it does. It's called popcorn cancer, and what it does is it breaks down the blood vessels in the lung. It has the same chemicals that cigarettes have in it. Increased risk of pneumonia and depression. The big thing is what they're selling now is synthetic marijuana, liquid form. And what they're doing is they're naming it things like Nice Guy, Scooby-Doo, and they flavor it. You can have juice, you can have spearmint, you can have all kinds of berry things. And my favorite, of course, is Scooby and gummy bear flavor, which means when police pull kids over who are vaping, and that's what they smell, it's not driving underneath the influence, but it is. You can smoke marijuana by vaping. The other issue is that the market now is campaigning to get kids from middle school onto high school, just by the names. It's sold in a lot of variety stores, and it's sold in head shops. For those of you who don't know where a head shop is, you can buy a bong or you get some papers. It's sold in there, a variety of stores. The interesting thing is that St. Luke Hospital came down. If you have any question about this, St. Luke Hospital, give them a call. Orange County now has 2 workers, Donna Galut at 294-9000, extension 263, and Kerry Connors, same number, except her extension is 267. This is rampant all over the country. I gotta commend the administration up there. It doesn't matter that only 10 or 11 parents are showing up. They're gonna do workshops all year. The interesting thing, though, I learned is after talking to parents, one quote was just, it was interesting. Well, if the schools are doing this, parents don't have to. Well, you know, that's nonsense, it's garbage. I say garbage. It's garbage. You can talk to your kids about this and reinforce what the school's doing. As one of the social workers said, take your kids for a ride in the car, lock the doors, and they gotta listen to you. And do a rolling stop in case they try to get out. I mean, come on, people can talk to their kids about drugs. It's not an issue that the school needs to do. Record says from K through 12, the paper, life skills should be taught in grades K through 12. School, that's not what schools are there for. So I'm suggesting that parents can start calling these people, get information about kids vaping. Thank you.
Brian, thank you. I want to ask you a question. The names and phone numbers that you read off, they're numbers that, for folks to call
Yeah.
if they need help?
Yeah, Orange
Okay.
County, or just to get information.
Yeah, okay. So write them on a, if you would,
Yeah, I will.
write them on a piece of paper. I'm gonna have them done up in the computer, and I'm gonna hang them on the bulletin board.
Okay.
So so I say that to everyone here, of course, but everyone that's watching from home, if you suspect or want to know more about something that we've just talked about here with your children, just come into the Village Hall. There's a large bulletin board downstairs. You don't need to see anybody, ask anybody, say hello to anyone. You just walk up to the bulletin board and you'll see the phone numbers and topics to call someone. So I think that's important that they be able to reach it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
I don't have much tonight. You mentioned a couple things that I was gonna bring up.
Mention.
Well, you've already, one of them is definitely the cleanliness of the animals that are out there. Biggest thing about that too is for your dog is the parasites that are in that. That's what I fear the most, because dogs actually, they'll go up sniffing, it just takes one sniff of that parasite. And that's why it's really, really important to pick that up. If you can't pick up after your dog, you shouldn't probably own it. That's just my opinion. Roe Park repairs will be starting soon up there for the basketball court. Once the board, we've discussed all of this already, and we're going to try to save the most that we can for the taxpayer. We'll be looking at the pool and the playground and all of that. Recreation-wise, down at the town hall, Aaron Falk, contact them. There's something for every child out there, so there's a lot of sign-ups, and there's a lot of other organizations that are out there for the children, for sign-ups, especially for the spring and the summertime. And actually, spring will be tomorrow, even though it still doesn't feel like it. It's spring tomorrow. But that's about it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And spring is here.
Spring is here.
Spring is here, so we have to do spring things. Right? Clean the park, clear the park, plant flowers, all kinds of stuff. I love it. Charlie?
Well, let's see. We've talked a great deal about the building department. I will say that their report this month says that they have done a total of 102 physical inspections and issued 21 advisory or violation notices. So we may be getting some more paperwork shortly, but I will get in and talk to them again. On a totally different item, I am the recipient of the emergency action plans for Lusk Reservoir and Cragston Lake dams. I have to sign a certification that the procedures for warning and evacuation of at-risk populations of West Point and Orange County, as required in the event of actual or impending failure of these dams, were discussed with me or members of my staff, and I have received a copy of the emergency action plan. I spent a lot of time with people who did this plan that looks remarkably like a Nike missile wiring plan. I will sign the document since I'm familiar with this and updated everything that I was aware of, but there are a lot of things that are going to be out of date come July in terms of phone numbers. So I am going to put a stipulation that this plan needs updating in the summer of 2018.
May I, Steve?
Sure.
Thanks. Anything else, John?
A happy thing. The Art Walk, the call for applications for the Art Walk have gone out. I would encourage, again, that local artists apply if they are sculptors and interested in exhibiting here in the village. We do have a lot of local talent, including Jim Thompson, who exhibited last year, and he has already donated a piece of art that will be, not auctions, raffled off as an additional fundraiser. So we thank Jim for his generosity and hope to see more local artists on exhibit, and that's
And
it.
if I just want to say something, because I don't know if anybody's friends with John Bennett on Facebook, but he just put together a deer out of horseshoes. And I gotta tell you, that is one talented sculpture deer that he just made, if you've seen it on Facebook. And if you haven't seen it, you ought to take a look at this. Unbelievable.
I saw it in the back of his truck up at the north end, but I did not know it was made out of horseshoes.
It's made out of
It
horseshoes,
even is more
out of horseshoes.
amazing. It's beautiful.
Really, really nice.
Tell him to apply.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jimmy? Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, so I got a couple of quick things. As far as the wastewater treatment facilities, we have been treating the past month on an average of 1 million gallons a day. The Speedies permit is within all its limitations. The belt press has only worked for 8 days, but we are working on, with the engineer, and the chief operator, Johnny Jones, has been in contact with the engineer also to get the rest of the specs for that, so we can go out to bid. The general maintenance on the other pump stations has been taken care of, so we're not gonna bore you with any of that. Couple of other things. There's a recycling and sustainability newsletter out there from the DEC. Right now, they're gonna have a New York Organics Summit over in Poughkeepsie, and that's gonna be on March 27th and 28th. If anybody would like to attend that, it's a great place to learn how to recycle and get sustainability into our environment. Great place for the kids to go. Couple of other things. Coyotes. We all hear about coyotes and the problems with coyotes. Again, you go to the DEC website. Here are some of the recommendations to have residents avoid them. Please don't feed the coyotes. And if you see anybody feeding them, ask them not to feed them. It's not the right thing to do. They're out there looking for food sources that attract them. So, you know, if you're out there feeding your pets outside, that's probably not another good idea. So they ask, don't feed your pets outside. Make sure your garbage lids are closed tight. If you have compost outside, put some fences around it. There's a whole list here. I'm not going to read it all. But again, if you go to the DEC's website, the New York State DEC website, you can pull that right up. Or if anybody would like one, just see me and I'll make sure you get a copy after the meeting. Another thing that's going on out there is there's a guidance manual for homeowners, and this is about stormwater runoff and how you can use green infrastructure on your property. In essence, doing some rain barrels, doing some rain gardens. This all helps our environment. Anything that we can do to get the water back into the ground is a great thing. You know, it's just not our water, it's not for us, it's for our kids and our grandkids. I recently attended another one of the HAB website seminars for these harmful algae blooms. You know, I got a lot of flack from a few people out there. This is a bacteria. If it gets into our water, there was a lot of reservoirs that were affected by it in New York State last year. So if you see it, or if you don't know what it is, go on the website, Google it. Everybody has the Google phone nowadays. Find out what a harmful algae bloom is. If you see it, just report it. They don't last long. Sunlight will get rid of them, but they are like a, how would I put it? They're like a dandelion. Once they bloom, those seeds are going to go everywhere. They're going to stay there. So if we can report it, the DEC will come down and take a look at it, and if they can address it, it's all the better for us. We don't need one of those in our drinking water. This week is Fix a Leak Week, and it begins on today, March 19th through the 25th. And if you go to, the DEC's website, they have a lot of ways to encourage the people and the homeowners to fix their leaks on their property. Generally speaking, some properties are wasting 10,000 gallons a year from leaks. So if you need that information from the DEC website, again, see me after the meeting. The last thing I got is the coloring books. They're downstairs. I see about half of them are gone. That's great. So if the kids can get them back here, all you gotta do is put your name, your parents' name actually, and the phone number, so we know who actually colored the book. We're gonna have prizes coming up real soon, so stop down in there if you ain't got one and get a coloring book. That's all I have.
Age limit on that?
I'll let you call it.
Not that good. Public comment? Yes.
Ray Devereaux, 48 on Europe Parkway. My questions have to do with reorganization. Number one, have you been in touch with Roundup Consulting to have you go back to present a final plan?
I want to say 2 weeks ago, could have been less than that, but I'll say 2 weeks ago.
When are they coming?
The plan is being, the police department plan that he presented here that night on July 13th is being, actually, he was here, the guy was here. We had a meeting downstairs. And he suggested that we look at that report that he presented here, update it, and he was given till the end of March to get it back to him.
Have you appointed your committee members?
No,
Have not?
no.
Do you
Still
intend-
work,
Do you
pardon?
intend to?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
What's the
What does
holdup?
this mean?
What's the holdup?
Want the right people on there that have a different view. Excuse me, you want me to answer?
I can listen down, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Martha.
Martha Allward, Highland Falls. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. We have another storm coming. 4 to 11 inches, we may get nothing. And let's hope for nothing, but back to saving the village money and whatnot, about the village doing snow plowing on private property. I understand it's for the safety of the kids. Once again, if the homeowner can't take care of it, then charge them. If it
Are you
can't,
talking about Mountain
Snow-
Avenue?
Mountain Avenue, and fortunately, we haven't had too much snow this year, But again, I have to pay somebody, I keep my walk clean, my neighbors keep their walks clean. I understand the properties, some of them are bigger. It shouldn't be our bill. It shouldn't be the village bill. It shouldn't be me paying for that street. Yes, I understand the school, and I want the kids safe, but I pay for mine. We have a school across the street from us. I pay for my street, my sidewalk. They should do theirs. And also, I did have a concern about the consolidation committee. I think whoever you pick is fine, as long as at least half of them are in favor, so we don't have a one-sided.
Well, that was the issue before, yeah, that's why it's a little bit different this time. I wanna put the right group together. No one's gonna say, well, they're all for it, they're all against it.
Yeah, well,
That's not gonna happen
let's
this time.
balance it, because
Right,
we
right.
homeowners can't afford it anymore.
Right.
We can't. I've seen some nice things in the village around where we live. Some properties have been
Yep.
rehabbed.
Yep,
The only problem is that the ones that I know about are all gonna be rental. And that's fine, nothing against renters, but they don't have the same interest in the community, and that makes it also hard. You don't see renters at these meetings too often, you know, so,
I'm a renter.
thank you,
I-
thank you.
I have a part of an answer for that I would like to speak to you whenever you
Yeah,
can in the next
no,
day or two.
it's-
Let me see, I hope I run into you, I'd like to
Yeah,
talk to you
well,
about that.
The one house right near us that's being rehabbed, it's great, it was a one-family, now it's a two-family. So we're increasing parking issues.
Well, that particular gentleman
Yeah,
has off-street
parking,
parking,
yes.
which is unheard of in that area.
Right, and he's also, I understand.
He should rent some of those spots out.
Well, I think he's gonna use it for an apartment building he owns, from what I understand, or something like that. I don't know if that's true. Rumors are wonderful, but
They're
there's,
abound.
there is some off-street parking there, which is great. But what was a one-family is now a
Yes.
two-family.
Yeah.
And that, and it's.
And you're right, we need to look at that, we need to, before it's too late, we need to look at that. We need to look at off-street parking, we need to look at what is it
But
doing.
we're already 50% rental, which is also an issue with
Yeah.
the village. So, again, the parking, the snow plowing issue, I wanna see kids safe. But as homeowners, if you know you're near a school and there is a rule that you have to clear your walks, then maybe some people should be reminded to get it done by the time kids go to school. And almost every big snow, there's a delay around here because of the area where we live.
I'll just tell you something, because, and I totally agree with you on the renter part, and I'm glad that you're here as a renter. But in my
Yeah.
years being on the board, both the town and, you never see renters here. You
I'm
never see them
embarrassed to
here,
say
and
it's
I'll
my
be the one that
first
says
time.
it, so.
But I'm here now.
Yeah.
It is my first
That's
meeting.
You've been to a lot of village meetings.
That's
Yes.
good.
Well, I'd like to say also that I'm also a renter, and
Very good.
I have actually organized events for this town, and
You
I'm
have,
very much,
the
yes.
Halloween up at Robles.
Yes.
Nothing against renters, it's
No.
just.
No, not also, but I have an interest in this town as well.
Yeah.
My son is a local.
Okay, I gotta bring it back, I gotta bring it
But
back.
I just wanna mention one thing,
No, it's okay.
one thing about Mountain Avenue and the sidewalks.
The same thing we have, the plows.
I gotta tell you, it's
Yes.
horrible, and
It is,
I for
yes.
one, with my neighbor next door on my right-hand side, we are out there at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night,
So
and
anyway,
if that plow doesn't come by at 3 o'clock in the morning and throw that up on top of the sidewalk, it happens all the
well,
time, you know?
we're the same way,
Yeah.
that's why we end up paying somebody,
Yeah.
because we can't lift we can lift the snow that falls,
Yeah.
we can't lift what the plow puts in the yard, which is often higher than the snowfall anyway.
Exactly.
And since it's already half melted due to the, whatever the DPW puts down, it's more ice and cloggy snow than it is snowfall.
Same thing, and he's just doing his job, trying to keep the road clear,
Right, and
meanwhile,
I know, it's this whole two-edged
Right.
sword,
right,
but you and I are doing our walks,
yeah,
so,
I agree. I
thank
agree.
you.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll just mention that, on Mountain Avenue, a lot of the people shovel the sidewalks. I don't think a lot of people realize that the bridges on Mountain Avenue, it's a law that we have to clear them. but a lot of them are shoveled. So, but we are up there because we have to do the
Yeah,
bridges, that's the
yeah.
law.
That's for sure.
Now, I'm not talking about our village property.
No, I know you
or
are.
state
No,
property.
I know. Yes, sir.
Sean Mulqueen, I'd just like to make a quick statement about that pole being hit on Mountain Avenue. I witnessed it. I have pictures here right here on the phone. The pole is extremely dangerous. If that thing goes out, it's gonna take out a lot of power for the
It's
town.
really bad.
If anybody has any questions, I have some great pictures. I witnessed it. I would definitely get on O&R to get this thing taken care of right away, because if it goes down, it's not only gonna take down the Verizon supply right there, but it's also gonna take out a lot of the town, because it's feeding.
No,
Just-
I am so on it, and I wanna tell you how I got on it. Was a week or two ago, I saw a picture of it that you posted.
Yes.
And unless you get out of your car and look, you don't, driving by it, you don't see the.
There's
how
a
bad it
10-foot
is.
crack in the sidewalk.
That's right. Chief, was there an accident report on this issue?
Yes, she hit it at about
Okay.
55
So we
miles
know
an
who,
hour.
we know who did it. Okay.
It's split, and that's just one side right there. Sorry. Here's the sidewalk crack, and look how it's over here. And that's the other side that you can't see. And the only thing holding it up is this thin
Yeah, it's bad.
sheet metal thing holding it together.
bad.
If you plow snow into it, it's gonna come down.
It's bad.
And it's gonna cause a big problem for the power outage and so forth, so.
No, thank you. That's one of the few things I've seen on Facebook that's worth being there, so you can take action against it. Thank you so much. Is there anything else?
I have a
Yes.
question, a couple of things. Leslie Greenberg, Howard Falls.
Are you the Greenberg of Holland Falls?
That's me. Greenberg.
Wow.
Leslie
No.
L. Greenberg.
We're kind of related, but you know that story.
You know I'm not related to Sophie. I'm not
Oh,
related
you're
to
not the
any
Greenberg.
Sophie.
You're Greenberg.
I am Greenberg.
Yeah.
I am a Greenberg. There's many out there, I'm sure.
I was referring to Sophie.
Oh,
I was gonna say we're kind
I'm
of,
not sure. Someone else asked me tonight if I was related to Sophie. I said, it's not the first time I've been asked, so,
Okay.
but just quickly. I'm right on the corner of Wyandotte and Mountain, 25 Mountain Avenue. My driveway that I come out of is like almost a 45 degree, I'm bad at math,
you're up
maybe
in
90.
that, you're up, that's your
Yeah.
driveway takes you up to that house in the back?
That's perpendicular, kind of, no, that's next to mine. Like, if you're making a left onto Wyandotte, my driveway is literally almost a U-turn. The point is, when I'm trying to back out, and I do try and back in to pull out straight, but I found that I have something with my traction, and it's much easier for me to back out backwards. I'm looking for a sign. I've already been into an accident because people come flying down that hill, like right in the middle when I'm trying to pull out, and no one even stops. Even just, and I know it probably won't make a difference. Watch out for driveway or anything, I don't know who to go to, so.
Look, Jake,
I think you ought to talk to the chief back there though about backing up the traffic. I don't know.
Well, it's not really traffic.
Well, it's not only her driveway, it's the one
It's
you're
not
thinking of too.
traffic.
that
No, I
people
know,
actually
but it's
use.
still a road.
Absolutely, but that's fine, but yeah, something, I'm just looking,
25
I need
Mountain, right?
something help, yeah, some kind of help. It's on the corner though, it's not the front parking lot, you know what I mean? Also,
let me take care of that one quick, I think. John, do you know where she lives?
I'll look, I don't exactly, I
Okay.
can't
Strobel.
figure out the
Yeah,
driveway.
it's Strobel building.
Is it Strobel's
yeah,
building?
but it's
Okay, I
not
know
the
where it is.
front, you
Yeah.
know it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay, so
like the Wyandotte.
Will you work with her, go visit that
Yes.
spot and see what kind of sign? And you're right, signs, you know, slow down, stop signs, children that play, they don't work.
I know,
But-
it's something.
It's something.
I gotta do something.
Okay.
The other thing is, as far as the water goes, I heard a lot about the water. Again, I'm embarrassed, this is my first time at a village meeting, I've been here for 16 years.
Okay.
From the first time I moved here, for 16 years, the water intermittently has been brown, which I've never seen anywhere. I still don't understand why anyone's water would ever be brown. I'm not sure, I think you were talking about the fact that this last time, it may or may not have been caused because the fire hydrant was used up by Roe Park. That to me is, I don't understand
It'll
why
go-
that would ever happen, why
Whenever
we
there's
don't
a
have the big
fire-
enough supply.
No, it's not the supply, it's the stirring of the water in the pipes, and that's what, the sediment is at the bottom. We have clean water, but there's still sediment in those pipes.
Okay,
And-
but why, I mean, why does every other town, I've lived in a couple places, why have we not been able to fix that? No other place has brown water that I know of,
Yeah.
ever.
I'm not real sure of that.
Right,
It's
I
an
know.
interesting statement, but
I can speak to Cold Spring, and
They
when
get
we
it too?
flush hydrants,
Do you?
they're,
I mean, okay, and that
That's
is
meant-
the
I
flushing
think
the
part of it is the older communities that have older
Right.
systems,
Oh, okay.
there's more sediment.
Well, that's more of an explanation than that's a thing.
And sometimes, it can be the household pipes too that
Right.
get stirred up.
Right, okay,
some of our pipes go back to 1928.
okay.
They're
Yeah, I just-
overdue.
And I don't necessarily understand, but I understand brown water, that's
Yeah.
why, you know.
And we used to flush twice a year. Now we do it at least 4 times a year because the pipes are older.
Okay.
So those 4 times of the year, for sure, you're gonna get brown water, but there are other times. A fire will do it, just like that. A
And
fire will do it.
I don't, now is that, can we fix that? I guess that's my question.
We
Why?
we can fix the old, we can replace the older pipes, that'll help,
Which I imagine is very costly, then,
Yeah.
we're talking about the.
but it still has to be done,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, what else do I have? Okay, as far as the O and R call, also, just so you know, I've called 3 times, okay? I'm sure the police department called when it happened, so, again, if you need any, you know, attestations or whatever you wanna call, I've called many times. And it is definitely a hazard, there's
It's
no
scary.
question. And if the wind's blowing the wrong way, it's literally gonna be in my living room, because it's right across the street. So, yes, I would request that someone call an authority, because I don't really think O&R listens to my complaint personally.
Well, I would hope
Or
they,
is very,
Yeah.
well, I think they listen, but I think maybe from someone in more village authority or the police department, maybe, who knows? So that's what I have to say about that. As far as the gross dog feces in the streets, why can't we, or may I suggest that we start out ticketing people?
The police, we've had that discussion, and I know Sergeant Torpy has been pressuring the police to keep an eye on it, watch. For
And I'm
the-
sure it's hard
For the
to
dog
prove
owners, be
who did
aware
it.
that there are cameras in places like Lady Cliff Park. There have been some apprehended
That
malefactors.
reminds me. Cameras. There was something that happened by my house. I was advised that the camera doesn't work. There's a camera on Center and Mountain, which I was very happy about because I figured we'd go to the videotape and I'd get my answer, but the videotape doesn't work.
how long
Or-
ago was that,
It
Leslie?
was a while. Is it working now? That was my question. But then I had heard, and I hate to listen to rumors, I had heard that there are other cameras that don't work. So I was just curious if that was being addressed or if those cameras are not working.
The cameras are constantly being addressed, in that are they working?
Are they?
Yes.
All of them are working?
Before I say all, I can tell you tomorrow.
Okay.
If I say all right now, I go downstairs
No,
and 2 or
that-
9.
That's right.
I wanna make
I'd rather
sure.
you tell me
No, I-
you don't,
yeah.
you're not sure, absolutely. It's just,
I
that's
will
my
find,
question.
I will know tomorrow.
Okay, just because, for obvious reasons, including what I will agree with is a major, a big drug problem in this town, too big for a village this small. I saw a lot of things when I was at the market, which I'm no longer at, by the way, I miss everybody's,
We miss you too.
and I don't see how the cameras wouldn't do anything but help. So I just think that's a big, an important thing.
I totally, we agree, we agree. And there's a lot of cameras out there.
Yeah.
There's
Which is
even
good.
private cameras, of course, when something happens, more than not, they let us view the camera.
It's good, and believe me, it's an inconvenience to me too, because it literally looks right into my living room. And I'm not thrilled about that fact, but I absolutely, I'll pull my shade, you know? I have no problem with more cameras and making sure that they work. And also, I don't pay taxes, I don't, because I am.
You do
a
pay
renter.
taxes
You
through
pay
your
it
rent.
through your rent.
Oh.
Of course you do.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do. Oh, so
No, you do.
I can complain. I guess.
You can.
So the camera's important, I think, very important.
I'll see you within a day or two. I would like you to come more often though, so you don't have a list.
Well, you're gonna see, well, I'll still have a list, because from the time you even start talking, I forget what I want to say. So it's better to have a list. I know it's only
Got the
3
same
minutes, I
problem.
probably went over. One other thing that I don't understand why it hasn't happened, as far as Curtis Sliwa getting involved with the Guardian Angels in this town, I would just love to see more, village support, like official village support, more in the paper, more on the website. I don't see why, I think it would be a great, and his programs would be great for this town. I think, and again, it's Facebook, so I take it with a grain of salt. I think there is something, a lot of things I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there is another meeting already set up. I don't know if it's public or private, but if there are public ones, if they can get in the paper and just more support. I think he's a great guy and wants to do nothing but help us. And I think I'm done, so,
Thank you,
thank you.
thank you. Anything else? If not, yes.
Jim Ogden, Highland Falls, I'll make up for the time from our previous speaker. I just want to let everyone know, first off, I was able to attend a couple of the budget meetings. I have to say they were very spirited, very lively debates. I think there was a lot of work, a lot of effort on the part of the board to try to keep increases in expenses from increasing too much. However, if what is going to be published by the village clerk for the next budget is anything close to what we were seeing last week, I just want to let everyone know we will be seeing an increase in our taxes. I am reading we'll see an increase in our school tax, and I have every reason to believe we'll see an increase in our town tax. So the bottom line is, in 2 weeks, I think we're having the public meeting to review the budget. I would encourage people, if you are a taxpayer or if you are a renter who does not want your rent to go up because your landlord is going to factor the increase in taxes into your rent. Those of us that have rented before know how that goes. I would encourage you to attend the meeting. It's 2 weeks from tonight, 6:30 p.m. And I would ask that the board, I'm not sure how this board is going to work those meetings since this is the first time you've done this with us. But I would ask that you perhaps have your department heads available and that you're able to answer any questions associated with where there are year-over-year increases in expenses. Please take that into consideration. So thank you very much.
I have a question. What do you mean this is the first year we've done this?
I don't think this board has had a budget review. Did you have one last year?
I've been doing this for 28 years, and for 28 years, the format this year is exactly the format for the other 27.
Okay, so this board hasn't been doing it for the last 28 years. And I don't know what the format has been. Some of us have not been there for 28 years.
By law, it's this.
So I would just, as a resident,
By law.
as a taxpayer, as a resident, as the bill payer for everyone who is going to be who are taxpayers, I request that you have the information available so that we are fully informed as to why our taxes are going to be going up.
And everyone in this room is in the same position that you are
Yes.
with taxes.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
But I just want to make sure that everyone understands that the format this year has never changed. It's been the same.
Jim, I just want to say one thing to you, that, you know, I know for the town now, they kept it under the 2% cap. And I know for the village, we're going to try our best to keep it down. A big concern of mine, and I can say this, is the school tax. Is what is a big, you know, that's just getting to the point where, you know, it's put out in the paper. Whoever voted last time, we all voted for the fields and everything else. And I didn't see anything about, you know, I see raises, I see everything, all of the above. That's the concern of mine, is the school taxes anymore. They're getting very, very high with the situation down in Florida, which is horrible. And I'm 100% for protection of the children. But sometimes you're gonna have to start saying to yourself, we have to do some kind of cuts, because the importance of protection for the children is more important sometimes than maybe the raises and all of that. So they have a tough budget to put out. But again, that's becoming a big part of the taxes, is the school taxes.
Well, in fact, if I could make a couple of comments, I mean, I think that is the biggest piece, is the school
Right,
tax.
absolutely.
But again, my point, and again, we're all one way, directly or indirectly, we are taxpayers. And my point is, at the end of the day, it is just a continual year-over-year increase in what we're seeing with taxes. And so I'm glad to hear, and Ray mentioned it, a couple of others have mentioned it, Joe acknowledged that. I'm glad to hear that. I think, from what I am reading in code, that what we're talking about is looking at how can we do some things that we run at least the local government more efficiently. You know, whether it's shared services, whether it's some kind of consolidation thing, whatever it is. But year-over-year increases is just an increased burden that we're all feeling. And at some point, things are gonna break. That's the concern. And so something's gotta be looked at it differently, in my view, other than our goal is to stay under the tax cap. So I think we need to take a fundamental different look at how we can do this and work together in a partnership in terms of how we can do this. Because you're right, we're all suffering from this. It's not just one or another, it's all of us.
Correct.
So I agree with you 100%.
Charlie?
Merv just hit on what I was going to say, but I do want to point out that our budget is approximately $7 million, a lot of which comes from other sources. Our tax cap over the last several years has been essentially zero. Now we're essentially 1%. For reasons beyond my understanding, the school, which has a $30 million budget, their tax cap is much, much higher. No, 2.3. 2.3 or 2.4. But on a budget that size, that's a lot of leeway. So,
No, I'm not gonna, I can't do this.
Okay.
No, I can't, she's on and then you're.
yeah, the school, which to its credit is doing a much better job at educating our kids. I hear really positive things from the other side of the river with people from Garrison wanting to send their kids here. And they pay tuition and all that helps. But it would be nice if the school could ratchet back some on theirs and not use the full tax cap. That's it.
Sure.
Okay, I have a couple of things.
Do you have anything on this issue?
Yes,
Okay.
you had just mentioned about other finances coming in to help subsidize like the field. I believe I read in the paper that we were supposed to be getting 75%
100.
of that cost
Are you
going towards
talking
our
about
field.
Roe Park?
No, I'm talking about the
Yes, you're
high
correct.
school.
Yeah,
Oh, the
Roe Park.
school, that,
Yes.
yes, but it's stretched over 15 years. So we pay up front and get reimbursed over 15 years. So that is debt.
Right,
And
but every year our school taxes go up, and I think it's more than a million every year, isn't that correct, in the budget? Goes up at least, what was it last time, $1.5 million? What was it? You guys might have one, please. No, you don't know?
I off the top of my
Okay,
head,
so
no.
pretty much every year our school taxes go up about $100 million into our budget.
And that's really outrageous, I think, you know. I personally am struggling paying my taxes right now, and most fear of losing my home. It's devastating. Okay, second issue that I wanted to bring up. The young lady mentioned the Angels. We are having Curtis Sleeway coming, he's coming on the 24th. I wanted to have a closed meeting with the original members, and we're gonna try to revitalize the program and see if we can get Angels. We are gonna have Angels come to the meetings, every meeting. We're gonna meet weekly and do readings, and so I suggest that if anybody wants to join or interested, to contact me, because the meeting is going to be this Saturday. It's gonna be on the 24th, and Curtis will be here at 1 p.m., and I have reserved the Amirio's Restaurant in town. And was, like I said, originally was just gonna have the original people come, but I'm gonna open up to the public, and the restaurant will be open at 12, and Curtis will be there at 1. So that's the second issue. What's the third issue? I'm standing here because I've been suffering.
Sit down in a chair.
Trying to remember the third issue. I have issues with the dogs too. We have people that stay at the motel there, one of the few motels in the area that accepts dogs. And they're constantly on my property. And I have to put up signs, I know that.
Sharon, the one next door to you or the one kind of
next door
down
to
the
me.
street?
One
Okay.
next door to me. They cut through the manager's property right there. There's this house between the motel and
Yeah.
mine, that's the manager's property. And there's a driveway that cuts through, and they're always walking through there with their dogs, and they have those leashes that extend. And sometimes they actually end up in my yard. And my dog goes crazy, I have to go out and I have to say, please, please don't show up in my yard. Merv had mentioned about, parasites and things like that, so that's an issue for me. And it's just, just common courtesy. So, yeah, I think that they need to look into that.
It's common courtesy, that's the two words to pick
Now I
up.
have the other issue. My issue is that we're starting this Angels chapter, and we're going to have to be working with the police department. And in the past, I've had several issues with the police department. And first question is, when I find something that is happening, that is going, concerning the police themselves, I took it upon myself to talk to Brian, and Barbara happened to be there. I was informed by a third party that I was quite rude. I don't remember being rude, but I do remember asking Brian if he thought that Barbara should be there, that he trusted her on this particular issue, because I was going to confide in him some things that I had found concerning the police department. I'm not gonna give names, but I'm gonna say that I've caught police asleep on the job. I've caught them asleep on the job more than once. I have witnessed drug deals, and I've gone to the police department, given them quite detailed information, and still nothing is done. So I want to know, Brian, I had spoken to you about this issue, and I don't know how does the public, when they see something happen, how do they get the police to respond properly? Because there's always one excuse after another about why something wasn't done. And I'm really concerned about it, because we have to work together. We have to work together with the police department. I remember calling the police and them not coming for 25 minutes. This has got to stop. And this is, I'm not saying this has happened recently, but I'm saying it has happened. And if we're going to work together to fight this drug problem, which you think that there isn't happening here, there definitely is happening. And people are seeing it, they're afraid to say something, and when something is said, there's something wrong in the communication between the public and the police department. And that's why I went directly to Brian. I wanted to make sure that he trusted Barbara. I didn't know if he was going to confide in her that information. That's why I had asked him, did he trust her? I didn't know what the procedure was. So can you explain that procedure to me? Because I really...
I'll take that,
We're
Joe.
seeing
I'll
so
take it.
much.
I told you at the meeting that I would see the police department the very next day. I went in and talked to Sergeant Kirby. He took down all the relevant information, and he saw the person. Civil service and our HR has advised that I cannot discuss what happened to that person. It was dealt with. The problem is with HR and, as you know, rights, you can't discuss what happened.
That's why I asked you if you trusted Barbara that night, I wasn't sure.
Well, yeah, I always trust Barbara any night.
I wasn't sure if you were, I was supposed to share that information with her, so.
He even calls
please
me
for-
Charlie.
Please forgive me.
No,
Please
no,
forgive me if you thought I was
the
really
issue
nasty.
is that you can't, it's just like when I was an administrator, and some kids got in trouble, the parents would call up and say, what punishment did you give that other kid? I couldn't discuss that, you just can't. As for the other one about seeing something, and I've contacted lawyers on this one, if you see something and you don't see money, or you don't see, and you say, well, I don't really know if it was a drug handout, you need probable cause, which we discussed
Right.
that night.
Right.
You can't pull over a car without probable cause. You can't come up to me on the street and say, I'm gonna frisk you now, because you're not gonna do that. It's gotta be probable cause.
Okay.
If someone sees something and the person leaves, you can't go after that car again or that person without probable cause. So I'm selling, I'm handing out the window, and then the next day I come back and I'm just parking, and someone comes up and says, I'm gonna search your car, you're not. Am I right about the probable cause? That's one of the issues.
Okay. So unless you were right there and able to identify the drug and the money that's being passed, there's nothing that can be done.
No, the one case that we talked about, the officer did have another person come behind him, they took the license plate,
I had given them the license.
right, and they have dealt with that,
Okay.
okay?
So I should come to you in the future, should I?
No, you should go to, I mean, you can certainly come to me,
Okay,
but it's Sergeant Torpy will be handling that. It's gotta go through the chain of command,
okay, all right. I
okay?
thought that would be a good issue to bring up,
It's
because
fine.
I
It's
am
fine.
welcoming the angels to participate. We're not out here to make drug arrests, we're out here just to deter the people that are coming to buy the drugs from local dealers. They see us, we're visible, they won't wanna come, so, you know, I'm encouraging the public to get involved. If you're afraid to, you know, approach them yourself, and you don't wanna deal with the police, feel free to come to me. I have no problem with that. So my name is Sharon Guy, I live in Pelwood Lake. Anybody who wants to join, please contact me. On the second house on the left, you'll see a big flag on my railing. Come knock on my door anytime. I really encourage the police and the citizens of this town to join forces and really battle this problem that we have going.
And I would strongly suggest, as police commissioner, that you don't go up to someone. You don't know who they are, you don't know what's in the car, you don't know what's going on. You know, you come up as a citizen, excuse me, do you have anything in the car? They might tell you what to do with that, or it might become an altercation. If you see it, talk about it, bring it to the police. Please don't go up to a stranger and say, I think you're dealing with them, or the village. Don't do that. You're putting yourself in harm's way.
Well, that certainly wasn't what I was suggesting. But I do suggest that we become visible and that we, you know,
Right, I agree.
are
I just don't
there
want
so
people
these people
going up
see
to
us.
cars.
Correct. Now, I want to, as long as you brought that point up, I have
Sharon,
taken one more.
no, I just want to say this because I try to keep to my rule and I didn't do it tonight.
Sure, I know you didn't. That's why I'm gonna
That's why
continue
you're
just a couple
gonna,
minutes.
that's why you're gonna tell me
That's right.
somebody else did it.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't do
Amen,
it.
brother, that's how it works.
Okay, that's how it works tonight.
Okay.
Tonight.
All right. So anyway, I have taken video of a drug deal. I mentioned this once before, where I had followed a guy that I knew was dealing drugs. He had come into my neighborhood, which is partially a dead end on one side. I went to investigate because he had cut through my property. And then I followed him onto a motel property. I had my videotape going, and the man first gave drugs to the car that I had followed, and then came up to me and put a bag, couldn't tell you what it was. I'm telling you, he put the bag right in my face, not a foot away, still couldn't tell you what it was. I don't know if it was cocaine, I don't know if it was heroin, I don't know what it was. But I had it on videotape, and I showed the police, and then they refused to make the arrest. So this is the kind of thing that I want to stop. If I have video and this man comes up to me and I can point him out and I can say, this is the guy and that's the guy and you need to arrest them and then the arrest isn't made, it's very frustrating to me, especially now that we're starting this Angels program. We want action taken and we know the police can do it if they want to, especially with the videotape. Well, I encourage everybody, if you think that there's somebody out there dealing drugs, you can pull it. Most people have a phone and they have a camera. Take a picture, inform us. Let us know where you think it's happening so we can start patrolling there, because this is going to happen in this town. And we need everybody's participation, whether you want to patrol, walking. Obviously, I cannot walk, I'm not gonna be doing that, but I am organizing, and I need support, not just from people who wanna walk, but support from people who know what's going on, and to give me the information. I could share it with the police, or whatever needs to be done to try to stop the problem. So I thank you for your time, and I'm sorry
Thank
for
you.
going on.
That's okay, everybody can do it tonight. It's a Christmas gift. Before I take the motion to adjourn, I want to say a couple of things that were said. Sharon, unless I misunderstood you, I did not say anything that resembles, I don't think we have a drug problem here.
Oh, okay.
You would have to be crazy to think that. Of course there is. What I did say is if you're a drug dealer, your time in Highland Falls is short.
I heard you say that.
Okay, real short.
Okay.
Okay, number two, if anyone has an issue also with their taxes, another avenue that you can do is go to the Board of Assessment Review. If you think your taxes are too high, go down to the town hall and go to their meeting. Does everyone hear me?
sorry.
No. Everyone here? Now, I will tell you, last year, between 17 and 18, over and I'm not, listen, it's the law, you can go and grieve your assessment. The assessment in the Village of Highland Falls dropped over $4 million. Okay, $4 million that we have to make up. And maybe a lot of it, maybe all of it was legitimate. My house is not worth 200, it's worth 150. Okay, we agree. I don't know, I never did it. Think about that, over $4 million.
At our current tax rate, that would be $40,000 that we have to make up in the budget.
Exactly, and now you have a place down at the other end of town that just sold to possibly a church. That's $27,000 that comes to the village. So now you're up to almost $70,000 that we have to find.
And $70,000 is the equivalent of what we're allowed in the tax cap.
Wait,
Exactly.
I don't understand.
I-
Why? Because it's, I'm not allowed to ask questions.
Well, yeah, that's the rules too. I'm gonna give it to you because it's Christmas. Give me one more, and that's it.
No, never mind.
No, don't, I asked
Churches
you.
are nonprofit.
What?
Churches are
Yeah, why did you say because it's a church? Because they don't have to
Tax
pay?
exempt.
Correct.
Right, it comes off the tax.
Correct.
Is that a definite? What kind
Yes.
of church?
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a
No, I
church.
know, I'm just curious, because there are a lot of churches around. so-
Yeah, the
And
tax,
while there are no-
let me give you a number that'll be startling to you.
I'm sorry?
Let me give you a number that'll be startling to you. I have a list, I've acquired a list of all the buildings in the village that don't have to pay taxes, like the village hall, like the fire department, like the town hall. Legitimate. It's over $37 million. Over $37 million. Now, please, I'm not suggesting, I want to say this to the camera, I am not suggesting that the churches pay taxes. I'm not going there. That's for the next guy, not me. Okay, I'm just giving you numbers. Over $37 million is off the tax rolls legitimately. Number two, people went down and assessed their, what they're assessed for, and assessments have dropped over $4 million. So let's talk about the whole pie, not the pie that's just sitting up here. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second by trustee Lizzie, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion
Oh,
carries.
absolutely, and I'll be definitely